met a man, and about 20 seconds into the conversation, he asked me, "What are you?" I began thinking, this is a setup, because I'm a little too dark to be biracial, so what's he talking about? To which I was thinking, maybe he's replying to gender identity. I would say I'm a cisgender black woman. Well, he must have sensed that I was a little perplexed about things, and he clarified himself, stating, "I mean, what do you do professionally?" Now, those of you who know me are well aware that I talk for a living, so I'm very rarely at a loss of words saying anything. But on this day, in this moment, for a minute, I had a pause. And then I blurted out, so happy, "I was born a diversity trainer." And then I quickly corrected myself and said, "I'm sorry, I'm a diversity trainer." However, I couldn't let go of that outburst. So as the night went on, and I kept thinking, like, why is this torn me? Why does it have me so torn that I made that mistake? The truth is, though, it wasn't a mistake. It was my truth. I was indeed born a diversity trainer on February 5th, 1969, to Willie and Grace Sewell. I came home from the hospital to 857 Freed Street. Both my parents were over the age of 40, and they had a newborn baby. I was the baby of 4, but there was a 10-year age gap between me and the sibling next to me. Talk about age diversity. For 20 years, I lived in the same house on the same street with people that looked like me. However, in the 3rd grade, I stopped going to Krause Elementary School and started going to St. V. Right, racial diversity. I went from a school where there was a bunch of brownies like me to a school where literally I was one of 8 chocolate chips in a batter of 600 plus students. I went from 99.5% to 5%. However, I never felt excluded, don't get me wrong. I attended a Catholic school and a Baptist church, so I was accustomed to difference. Very comfortable with someone praying the rosary at one end of the pew and speaking in tongues at the other end. Difference has always been who I am. I talk funny, my hair changes often, I've heard I'm cute for a big girl, but I managed ways and coping mechanisms to make sure that I was included and that my voice was heard. I've purposely created my own environments so that others would feel safe in valuing me. I want you to remember that. Purposely created my own environment so that others would feel safe, welcoming, and valuing me. When you're different and you have to cultivate your own space so that other people value you, that's work. That's my life. It's all I've ever known. So when I tell people that my passion and my profession are in alignment, they are, because it's personal. There's so many people who are born or who have a calling to do things, but because of exclusionary practices, they're not welcome to do what they're meant to do. So I ask you, I tell you, your mindset determines your value, right? When you get a chance, but not right now, Google cultural programming. Succinctly put, cultural programming refers to how we view things, situations, life in general, as what's normal. My cultural programming, thanks to my parents, has always had a value on difference. Right? I value difference, and I would have to, because if I didn't value difference, I wouldn't value myself. So, your perspective on any given thing, at any given time, in every given situation, says how much value you place in it. So, I'm going to ask you this. Have you ever heard of a kidnapper van, right? You heard of one. Even if that picture wouldn't have popped up, you still would have an image in your mind on what a kidnapper van is. You've not seen the 2018 commercial for the extended cab conversion van kidnapper van, but you've heard of one. But if you round it out, right? We took the Ford symbol off and put a Mercedes symbol on. If we rounded out the nose, rounded out the tail, painted it black, tinted the windows, we give it value. See, in this society, we place value in symbols. They both have the same parts. If I sent them to the airport to pick you up, though, which one would you get into? Right? You're laughing. The vehicle went from a feared kidnapper van to this prestigious Mercedes vehicle that we all want to ride in. But none of us wants to be in the movie Taken 7 with the kidnapper van. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Your culture is going to dictate how your organization thrives. Whether it sinks, whether it soars, whether it swims. Culture negates what you're talking about in the top floor offices, because if your culture is sending a different message, then that's what's going to affect the bottom line. If you know and you value inclusion and you like having different perspectives and a different lens at the table, then that's vital to the success of your organization. And if you're not looking for that, then you're fighting a losing battle. So, when you recruit, do you look for a good fit? All of us, we look for a good fit. Fit isn't good. One size doesn't fit all, doesn't fit most, trust me. When you go for fit, what you do is you say that you have these exclusionary values, but they're an ideal replica for your organization. When you're looking for a good fit, you're being prescriptive because you're trying to make somebody fit a pattern that you've created based on these subconscious biases of successes or failures. You want to recruit the outliers. You want to get the other people in. Inclusion is about where you place your value. So I'm going to give you a recipe for inclusion today. What I want you to do is get a healthy dose of diversity or difference. Racial diversity, diversity of thought, gender identity, diversity, anything. Mix in some mindfulness, but be intentional with this ingredient because if you fail to use it, your recipe will fail. Be constantly self-aware that even good people have unintentional hiccups. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Stay committed to this journey because it is a journey. We're not checking boxes. You haven't arrived. But you need to be okay with that. Thanks so much. Have a great day.